Hi, Jeff Marsacci, and today we are here with Jared Husketh of HD Reach. Jared, could you tell us a little bit about Huntington's disease?
Sure, Jeff, I'll be glad to, and thanks for having me with you today. So Huntington's disease is first and foremost a family disorder. It doesn't affect just one individual, it affects an entire family. Because Huntington's disease is in fact genetic. It is a genetic neurodegenerative disorder with motor and cognitive impairments. So taking out all of the science and the medical speak behind that, what does that really mean? Think for a moment of a combination of ALS and Parkinson's and schizophrenia. And you've basically got sort of some idea of what Huntington's is. And there's no cure for Huntington's either. Huntington's generally begins around 35 years of age. There's genetic testing that can be done for family members who may have it or who may not have it, but it's a very long disease that has a very deep continuum of issues and of special needs, and there's a certain way to really treat a person with Huntington's, and there's a certain way to help a person with Huntington's, especially when it comes to medical care and for life planning.
Okay, tell us a little bit about HD Reach and what you do with HD Reach.
So HD Reach is a statewide nonprofit that is dedicated to providing access to medical care, providing social assistance, and providing education to all families across North Carolina. So we estimate that there are about 1,000 people across North Carolina who are currently diagnosed with Huntington's, and then there's about 5,000 people at risk. So across the 100 counties in North Carolina, we have about 6,000 people that we need to serve. We've been around since 2008, so we're a very young nonprofit, but we're a very experienced nonprofit. In that we have partnerships with medical clinics across the state, specifically with the Motor Disorders Clinic at Duke and with the Movement Disorders Clinic at Wake Forest University Hospital. We have a terrific board of Huntington's disease experts and Huntington's disease providers, and within our mission statement we offer services in 3 different areas. We provide an advanced medical case management model, so those would be issues like questions about getting people into the clinic or seeing them in their clinic experience. We provide educational resources either through trainings for medical providers or statewide symposium or conferences, or even doing one-on-ones with doctors and with families to help those living with Huntington's. And then we offer support groups, and the support groups are our great way to tap into the community and see the needs of the community. Huntington's disease, we talk about it being a family disease. We talk about it takes their expression, it takes a village. It takes a group of people to come together to manage Huntington's and to live with Huntington's. And the Huntington's community, for everything that they experience and for their life, they're a beautiful group of people. They're just a tremendous resource for each other, and they're a tremendous resource to share information between each other and what they do.
Okay. Well, you mentioned this is a family affair. Tell me, what kinds of planning do families need to do? And in particular, I guess there's the financial and the health aspect.
So I think we would probably talk about the healthcare issue first. I think that's the most pressing. As I mentioned, Huntington's disease takes some time. A person can live anywhere between 15 and 20 years with the disease, and the disease will eventually get worse. One of the reasons that we advocate for advanced healthcare planning is because at some point it's highly likely that a person will need to go into a skilled nursing facility to have their care needs managed. There are a lot of family caregivers out there who do the best that they can, but sometimes those care needs are going to get much more complex than a family caregiver or even a family caregiver team might be able to provide. So the first thing is planning for expensive and potentially costly and complicated long-term health care. The second issue, and this is something that can be a little bit difficult for some Huntington's families to talk about, is that there will be the possibility of do not resuscitate orders and artificial nutrition. A feeding tube is a very dominant, or it's a very prescient risk for people who have Huntington's. And most of the people that we've talked with, there's really a 50-50 split amongst Huntington's families as to whether they want to have a feeding tube put in or not put in. But obviously, before a person gets to that point, we want them to have made that decision, and we want that decision clearly communicated. Because we don't want to get into a situation where someone receives artificial nutrition when they actually didn't want to. Talking about some of the legal aspects of that, a person with Huntington's is eventually going to lose some of their cognitive ability and is potentially going to lose their ability to communicate. So it's very important to name a healthcare power of attorney. It's very important to have your wills, a living trust established so that your final needs can be carried out. Because there's going to be a time where a person with Huntington's might not be able to communicate, and they'll have financial needs that need to be taken care of, or there'll be healthcare decisions that have to be made. Plus, Medicaid's a harsh reality. We do have a lot of Huntington's families that do end up going on Medicaid because they deplete so much of their savings in order to pay for a person's health care. And we do encourage some of our Huntington's families to make sure that they are prepared for the possibility of Medicaid, and we want to make sure that they're ready for it. And so Medicaid planning and asset transfer, that goes into it as well.
Okay, well, great. Lots of good information. So I want to thank you again for being here, Jared. And how can people get in touch with you if they need more information?
Certainly. So we have a fantastic website. It's www.hdreach.org. There's tons of information. There's videos, there's blogs, there's connections out to other websites. Just great ways and opportunities for the community to come in and learn information. I'm proud to say we have a really active and really engaging Facebook and Twitter presence. So find us Twitter at HDReach, and on Facebook just find us under HDReach.
Okay. Well, thank you again for being here, and we hope that our audience got a lot of good information.
Thanks again for having us.